All right. Well, YouTube, we're back up. I'm glad to have you joining us. I know we've got some folks who are going to jump onto the stage here on the Coruscant Night. Oh my gosh, I get it wrong every time. The Nightcast Creative Discord channel. If you haven't come and join us, please look for us. We are Nightcast. Nightcast Creatives, and yeah, it's awesome. It's just the same information it is on YouTube, but you can like talk to people and stuff. It's super fun. Mark's actually going ahead and typing the information for me right now. Thanks, buddy. So let's start this over again. Hey there. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Mask. I'm your host, Sarah Joy, your friendly neighborhood interrogator turned clone, helping you to get to know who the person is behind the screen name. I'm actually coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia this week at DragonCon. So it's a little different. We are in the last night of DragonCon, and here we are. It's super fun. But the player we're speaking to is coming to you live from his home, which used to be my home because it's my little brother, Drunkel Grog, also known as Ben. Say hi to everyone, Ben.
Hey, everyone.
So, Ben, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am your brother, which leads us to the first question, which is, why am I your favorite brother?
You're my favorite brother because you're my only brother.
Oh, okay. And tell everyone about the tattoo you got in my honor.
Who is interviewing who here? I asked you to tell us a little bit about yourself. What tattoo did I get in your honor?
Okay, that's fine. What tattoo will you get in my honor?
What tattoo am I getting in your honor?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
That's not yet. That's not yet. So tell us about yourself, Benjamin. Stop deflecting.
Deflecting. My name is Ben. Full name's Benjamin, but I go by Ben. I am Sarah's brother. I ran into Nightcast Creative a long time ago. AJ and I were the first true fans, I believe, maybe besides Nikki Kroc, who's Mark's wife. But we were the first kind of two people really on the Discord, and it's been a great ride to go on. It's been fun to see it evolve. It's been fun to see all these people jump on. It's been fun to meet a lot of different people from different places in life.
Now, Ben, you are one of the moderators on Nightcast Creative's Discord. How did that happen?
Freak accident. We call ourselves the clones. You are one of them as well.
I am a clone.
I think mostly Mark had a bunch of bots showing up, so he got desperate and asked me for help, and I said yes.
Because that's the only way that either you or I are asked for help is desperation.
Yep. That's how we got here tonight.
Yes. So, Ben, how does the Muggle world know you?
How does the Muggle world know me?
Uh-huh.
Is that the question when you're like, what do you do in your daily life?
Right.
Oh, okay. So that's a really difficult question. I have a lot of really good friends that when they introduce me to someone, they avoid that question because it gets a complex answer. One of the best ones I ever heard was, "This is Ben. Don't worry, I've known him 10 years and I still don't know what he does." So essentially, I start up small businesses and get them to kind of survive the toughest part of the startup. I think that's kind of where my specialty and ability lies. I have a lot of random trade skills I picked up during the years because I started my work in building maintenance. Had a service company which let me start kind of other businesses. So I have a lot of really random skills that most people don't expect me to have.
And Ben, what is your opinion on hot tubs?
Never get in one that you do not maintain yourself properly. And by that, I mean you're emptying your water at least 3 times a year. Usually I'd say 4 times a year at very, very minimum. you're checking the chemistry twice daily in an ideal situation. The big problem I have with hot tubs is the bather to water volume ratio. So, like in a pool, think about it. There's one of you in it. There's 30 plus thousand gallons typically. In a hot tub, there's one of you in it. Sometimes there's 1,000 gallons. So drop in six of your friends. That's not a lot of water to spare.
That's right, friends. He's got lots of random skills. Any questions about hot tubs, ask him and he'll dissuade you from them.
Dissuade you from ever buying one. And I will have you know, the Hana's pool party was one of the most disturbing episodes to me because I could visualize the entire thing and the mechanicals of the situation.
So, Mark, when you're doing more of these, just ask him for as a consultant about what the volume of the pool needs to be to properly ensure everyone's hygiene on Coruscant night. So we did something a little different this time. We actually opened a thread on different questions that could be asked. And normally I have a list of questions that I go down through. I'm not going to do that this time because the other questions are so good. They're very specific to Ben because he's been on the channel. Hana's Pool Boy 2022. I love the chat. If y'all want to interact with us live, hop on the Discord chat. It's absolutely hilarious. We have our own channel on the Nightcast channel. So these folks know Ben really well. Some of them have gamed with him over the years, and they've really got quite a good list of questions. So the first one I want to start off with, very poignant one from Mark, our fearless leader. Do you believe in ghosts, and how haunted is your house?
I actually do not believe in ghosts, which is surprising. Like, I don't think the spirits of dead people come back. I think that there's some place people move on to. That said, I believe 100% the 180-year-old church building that I live in is probably haunted.
Excellent. So 100% house is haunted, 100% doesn't believe in ghosts.
Yep.
What was your first experience with role-playing games, Benno? And no one else can call him that but me. Go on.
Yeah, please don't. I don't even like when she does it. So my first experiencing role-playing games, I was in like middle school, and we were staying overnight at our church for like some event. And some of the kids I thought were really cool. They were the cool kids. They busted out this like Babylon 5 RPG. And I remember it very vividly and looking through the books and having no idea what they were doing. And I'm like, I have to learn how to do this. Years later, looking back on it, they were the most uncool people possible in the group. But to me, they were the coolest. So it always stuck with me that like I always wanted to try an RPG. My first actual game I played in was after a breakup. I had some friends, and they were kind of distant in my friend circle, and they were just like, "Hey, you should come over and play with us." So I came over, and we had this really crazy game, and the GM was just kind of off the wall. And there was one point where I rolled this incredibly great series of rolls, and my character, when they would come close to objects, would instantly know what that object would taste like. And we turned it into this weird broken form of echolocation. And from then on, I loved RPGs.
That's awesome. So I actually, this is the fun of like doing these interviews with someone my brother and I obviously grew up well, not obviously, but my brother and I grew up in the same house. I left when I was 18, but like I was there while he was in middle school. And yeah, never had any idea about the Babylon 5 RPG. That's pretty cool. Whose was it?
Christian, Bryce, and Nate, and Ben.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the four of them were playing. The most uncool people in school. But to me, they'll always be the coolest.
They will always be the coolest. And Mark actually said in our channel that cool is relative. So it's pretty awesome.
I like
Um,
to think it's relative because I think you're cool.
oh, oh, wait, because I'm your relative?
Yeah.
Okay. Ben is also very punny. I'm going to skip to the live chat for a question, and then I'm going to go back. Cute. I'm going to go back to the previous written out questions in our subthread. So Kay White is very curious. It says you live in a century old church. They want to know more about that.
I didn't mean to. I basically during the kind of the pandemic here, I had an opportunity to sell one property I had held for a long time, and I was looking for a place that I could buy that wasn't insanely expensive. And there was a house that was beat up in all the right ways for my skill set. Bad basement, bad, the framing was mostly intact, bad drywall, some mold, like that's what I live on. And the thing that sold me on the house was if you went up into it and looked at the rafters, you had to get through this little tiny like hole that you had to like pull your way up to into the ceiling. Um, and when I got up there, I could see it was this massively high vaulted ceiling upstairs, and it was old timber frame. Um, and there was no rod on the timber frame, which was the thing that surprised me. And that was what sold me on the house. Well, at closing, I asked them, I'm like, I they were surprised I wanted it. And I told them, well, I'm really excited to get this. I figured it was like an old structure, like an old barn or something somebody converted. They said, no, you know what that is? I was like, no, I don't. They're like, that's the old church from down the street, which is even cooler because our dad has a background in archaeology. And he had looked up the town near where I live, figured out that the three original structures in that town were a sawmill, a church, and a little house. And we think we have an idea where the other two were, but we had no idea where the house was. And he was going to go drive around the back roads and try to see if he could figure out what house or what barn was this old church building. And it ended up that I actually purchased the old church building and had no idea.
Nice. Yep. And it's got some beautiful original wood floors. Like I die for this. All right. So where does the name Drunkel Grog come from?
The name Drunkel Grog is a big mistake. Um, it came from an RPG game we were playing in the Fantasy Age system, which is like a 3D6 system. I'm sure that'll come up later, so I'm gonna explain that little what do you call it? Foreshadowing, little foreshadowing there with the 3D6. So I wanted to play a silly, happy-go-lucky character, and I created this dwarf, and his name was Grog because he was just going to be a goofy drunk. But his shtick was he was a goofy drunk, but he was insanely intuitive at fighting, and that was his skill. However, at the end of the first game, one of the players pulled me aside and like in game and basically said, "Hey, we just killed people. Like, is this okay? Like, I don't feel okay with murdering people. Like, even if they were trying to kill us." And I didn't know how to answer him. And I'm sitting there just thinking, I'm like, I have no idea what this person would say. And like, it was a really close friend of mine that asked it. So I'm like, I'm just going to share what I think. And like, I went through this whole conversation of like, listen, like, no, killing people is never a good thing to do. Sometimes it's the only option when people are going to hurt you or other people. Like, it should not be something we take pride in. It should not be something we like. It should not be something that makes us feel good. And one of the things about him was he became the moral compass of this group then. And so they started calling him like their uncle, and then they realized that he was a drunk dwarf, so he was their drunkle. So that's where Drunkel Grog came from.
And you embraced it wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
Which is fun because you are straight edge. So
yeah, it's also ironic because I don't drink. at all.
It's super fun. All right. So we're going to go over to Blame Cat. Blame Cat asks, what's a valuable lesson that you learned from playing?
That's an excellent question, Chris. I think one of the major lessons I learned from role playing was, and this is kind of maybe about role playing too, was to focus on trying to get other people involved and give them the spotlight. Um, I think as a player, it's one of the most important things we can do is to just sometimes be the person who passes the ball to someone else or let somebody else shine. Um, and I think that's true in life and in game. That was kind of why Grog became important. Was he could never succeed at any of his roles. He failed at the most important times possible, and he always set another character up for an amazing rescue.
I like it. Mark just added that was Took's MO for sure, which was awesome. Who's Took?
Tooks, you do not know the Tooks? The Tooks he is the cat. He is the lost cat. He knows the Jerry.
Oh, that's right. If you all remember, Took from Coruscant Nights. Oh, you seem to play a lot of animals on Coruscant Nights. We've got Kishi, who's a Kushiban, and Took, who's a literal cat. All right, this is a really hard question, really difficult question from Blame Cat as well. Chuck Norris or Jackie Chan?
Okay, give me 1 second to think about that. I'm going to ask you another one. Ninjas or pirates? Which is better? And you can think about that while I answer. Oh, okay. You don't need to. Ninjas no. It is.
All right.
Bruce Lee, because he can beat up Chuck Norris. And but I would say Jackie Chan by far between Chuck Norris and Jackie Chan. And I think the scales tipped in Jackie Chan's favor because of the Jackie Chan adventures.
Oh, and what's the Jackie Chan adventures?
It was a late 90s, early 2000s cartoon show. And
oh my gosh, I remember this.
Yeah, there was the old uncle.
I remember watching this with you. Yes. Yep. Andrew just posted a GIF in the chat that is from the old Jackie Chan adventures. Oh my God, I remember watching that. Can you see it?
My internet won't load fast enough to load that GIF right now.
It's great. There's the little niece.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been watching Cobra Kai on your Netflix while while I've been watching your house and your dog.
Uh-huh.
So I've been wondering this, and I'll just interject it. Mm-hmm. Who is the bad guy? Is it Johnny or is it Daniel?
That's the question. I've not watched Cobra Kai yet.
Yeah, but in the first Karate Kid, who was the real bad guy?
Oh, hold on. Oh, the real bad guy? Yeah, that's the question. The question.
And Daniel threw the first punch.
Daniel did throw the first punch. So, Kay White just dropped in the chat that the Jackie Chan Adventures was not their favorite show, but they definitely watched it with their little brother. That's right. Me too.
I did not say it was a good show. I just said it tipped the scales in Jackie Chan's favor.
I love it. All right. We're going to move on to some of AJ's questions. AJ asks, as a man of many talents, please give an example of how your talents translate into RPGs. Well, AJ, we already have one with Ben's concern about Hana's pool at the Star Wars Coruscant Nights Hotel pool party. How else does this figure in?
I haven't gotten to use any of the skills I've really wanted to in a game yet. I've always wanted to use my plumbing knowledge. The closest I ever came to that was I had a character that can turn into a snake. So I frequently would justify why I could make it through the plumbing to different areas, and explain to the GM how it would work. Um, However, business experience is a lot of fun when you bring it into game. Um, you know, communicating with people, always important. But my favorite character was Yossi. And
Hmm.
Yossi had no intelligence, high wisdom, and high charm and communication. So he was so sincere in his thoughts that he could convince you of anything.
I like it. Is that you feel like that's one of your talents? You're so sincere in your thoughts, you can convince
No, he
people
was.
of anything.
I'm sorry. There's probably more to that story, but he was a business guy, and he was always like wheeling and dealing.
Okay.
So like he would try to sell you something, and he would be successful at it, even though there's no reason you should buy it. Think I'm the opposite of that,
Hmm.
but it's a lot of fun to play that in a game.
Nice. One of the things that I love about role playing games the most is you can explore different aspects of your personality. I think I've said this before on some of the episodes. You can
So
explore different aspects. Go ahead.
why do you speaking of AJ, why do you steal my friends and leave me with AJ?
What? How do you think I've left you with AJ? AJ chats with me on my Instagram.
AJ chats. So you've even stolen AJ. So I
I
have no
told
one left.
AJ. You have
I
no one
feel
left that's just your friend.
terrible.
Oh, because I've got nothing. So AJ also asked, as a dual lover of the Star franchises, Star Wars, and in his words, that other Star one, how can both of these franchises occupy a man's heart?
I think it's very easy. Star Wars is set in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I might be a little dyslexic there. However, Stargate is set in the present day. Most of it happens in Cheyenne Mountain, and they travel to other planets. I think it's very easy to love both shows, and I think they have a little bit of the same comedic flavor.
It's great because only I know that you're trolling everyone else. Ben and I are both huge Star Trek fans. That's right, AJ. Don't leave Stargate out. Stargate is brilliant. There's a reason that it had like 9 seasons and like at least 3 spinoff shows, two
Yeah,
spinoff shows, Atlantis and Universe. I thought there was another one.
and the final season of the original Stargate series, that last episode, will make you cry.
Yep, yep. Just saying. Stargate is underrated. There's a whole Stargate group who's down here at DragonCon too, who marches with a Stargate. Maybe that's what we can all agree on in the Star universe.
Yeah,
Stargate.
and as far as Star Trek and Star Wars, Star Trek is the future, Star Wars is the past. They're two totally different concepts.
And
One's a boat.
Stargate is our hidden government program
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. All you conspiracy theorists out there, you're wrong. There's a Stargate. You're looking the wrong places for conspiracies.
That's right. All right. As one of the most knowledgeable night crawlers on the Nightcast Discord, which episode of Coruscant Nights would you recommend people start with and why?
I think obviously any of the carpisodes are good. You should start at the beginning of the carpisodes, um, but that's always a good place to start. I think we will find over time that Mir's story arc may become a place to jump into the series, especially like for later people jumping into the series. And I feel like Mir's story arc will have a lot of long-term payoffs that we haven't seen yet.
So, if you all are unaware, Ben will listen to these episodes multiple times and probably has the timeline laid out better than Mark. AJ may beat him on that, but that's about it. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. I really like this one too. This is also AJ. Whose idea was it for you and your amazing sister? Thanks for sucking up there, AJ. Sarah Joy to play Kushiban on Coruscant Nights.
Mark asked me to play first, and this was right when you were moving back to town.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't like a lot of the aliens in the Star Wars universe, like especially because they get really overdone. Your main ones like Ewok, Wookiee, like all these things get played and played and played. And I think part of the fun of the Star Wars universe is the number of different alien races out there. So I just got on Wikipedia and was like, I want to look up random creatures. And I just stumbled on Kushiban and I'm like, Space Bunny Cat, I'm all in. Send me credits.
And for those of you, no one knows. Growing up, we actually had rabbits, and Ben kept his rabbit the longest. So he loves rabbits. Rabbits have his, like, how people feel for dogs, Ben feels for rabbits.
They're the best part of a cat and a dog combined.
All right. So another great, for random creatures, yes. If another great question, which of your many projects in life are you looking forward to completing? And AJ adds to this one, so we can have more time with you.
All of them, because I'd love to have more time with them. For those of you that don't know, I think it gets mentioned almost every other Behind the Mask because you have some player from this game. At the start of the pandemic, a couple of us got together and we started playing this game, Halcyon Dawn. Well, I hope I said that word right. It means shield. I do know that. I do know what it means. So we started playing this game at the front of it, and we had a lot of time, and we had these crazy off-the-wall stories, and everybody's characters started clicking. It went crazy places. Mark has like so much more story that we never got to because we were too busy eating in the cantina and stuff on the ship and screwing around. Like, so that's why he kind of asked about that. And hopefully some of that stuff we'll start figuring out comes into the Coruscant Nights universe. But I'd like to finish right now Soil 1. Soil1.com. Insert plug here.
Yeah, shameless plug.
We're working on a soil testing kit technology, and
the technology is already out, so you can actually purchase this. Continue.
Yeah, and we're applying it to carbon sequestration in soils, not just carbon sequestration of the plant, not just like in general. It's about ways to build back carbon supplies into the soil once they've been taken out, because most of our things we plant nowadays are actually robbing the soil of the base component it needs, which is carbon. I could go on about that for a really long time, so I'll stop there.
Is it Soil one spelled out?
Soil the number one.
Oh, oops.
Yeah,
Soil,
the other one.
The number one.com. Ignore the other one.
Yeah, somebody else got the other one first.
Yeah. That's right. No. Thanks, Mark. All right. So, what is your favorite character? What is your favorite character that you have ever played, and do you wish to play them again?
Yossi, and I will always play him because he shows up randomly in other friends' games, and even my friend Dan has asked me to drop by in his game sometime and play Yossi. Yossi was the slick, fast-talking Argonian. It was a Elder Scrolls campaign, and his entire goal was to capture gold.
That's right. Tell us why his entire goal was to capture gold.
Well, we played a 2-year campaign, and Yossi bargained and sold everything he got, including rare items. If the party got a super rare item and Yossi happened to have it, he would try to hawk it to anyone walking by. 5 gold, 2 gold, 10 gold, 1,000 gold, whatever he could get for it at that second. He wasn't smart, so he didn't quite always put his price right. So around the 2-year mark, we were coming up on the end of the game, and we were just off on some random area unrelated to Yossi's secret backstory, and we run into a lead on his backstory, and Yossi hijacks the party, just starts driving their carriage through the woods all night, all day, straight into a swamp. People are getting damaged. There's like poison. Everybody starts freaking out, thinking he's lost his mind. And they finally ask him what he was doing, and he says, "I need gold. I need to go get my wife." And they're like, "Why do you need gold? Why do you have a wife? Like, what's going on? How much do you need? I'll give you everything I have." And they're like, "Well, here." So they start piling all the gold, and he's like, "No, you don't understand. I need more gold." And he has this bag that he's been carrying around and throwing stuff into. And it's kind of like a bag of holding, but it was like a teleportation one. So they look in the bag, and inside it was like Smaug's den in The Hobbit, or not The Hobbit, whichever one that was, just full of gold, just mountains of gold everywhere. And the problem was Yossi had made a deal that had gone bad, which he had to pay all the gold in the world for his wife. And he ended up with this group because they were out killing these demigods, and he hoped that they would either help him get the gold or help them free his wife. And the best thing about that was the most broiest bro at the table. Big lacrosse player, go to every soccer game, go to every football game, frat bro, stands up at the table. I'm like, what the heck? And he just looks at me, and he holds out his arm and does like the gladiator handshake where you grab each other's forearms. And he goes, "We're going to get your bleeding wife back, man." It was one of the most crazy, random, intense moments in a game ever. I love Yossi. I love going back to him. And he is, Yossi, he is what I stole Took's voice from.
Yes, that is. I think that's one of my favorite RPG stories ever.
What was your favorite character that you played?
It's not my interview.
I know, but I'm really curious. Was it your Grog?
No, it was not Caleb. It was not Caleb. My favorite RPG character ever was Jack. Jack was a true neutral human rogue, and I actually really like playing humans because they're completely and utterly unremarkable on their own. And
kind of like Marta.
Kind of like Marta. That's why I played Marta, and I played her very specifically as human.
And very specifically as having a brother?
Very specifically as having a brother. So, which comes up very few times in the story. So,
can you tell us? Can you either read?
You keep trying to hijack.
Can you tell us anything about her brother?
Keep trying to hijack this interview. We don't know if he's alive or dead. I'll say that. There was no confirmation of his death. So we'll see if that ever comes up again in the other place.
That could lead into an AJ question I saw.
Oh, totally could. Let's see. What about a Tulana question? Joy question. Tell us more. I can't tell you more yet, Mark. It's not my interview. I asked the questions here. What game would you want to play in as a character in the future?
I'd like to play. I think I would like to play in the other place. Um, maybe I really enjoy the game you and I have that we haven't finished on the live play.
Oh my gosh. I know.
Sarah,
I don't think Mark wants us to finish that one, but I'm a Dino is my favorite character ever.
I love I'm a see. It wasn't your Jack. It's I'm a Dino.
I played Jack for years.
I I like that one because you're like this, uh, neutral Indiana Jones dinosaur, and I'm just like some random middle-aged uh, tour guide trying to restore his relationship with his
He's
ex-wife.
ghost ghost tour guide. Ghost tour guide.
Oh yeah, ghost tours became a thing for the rich and famous people. It's you when the goat business went south and they lost all their money and they lost their relationship over it. He went back to the only thing he knew, tour guide, and ghosts were the popular subject.
There you go. There you go. All right. So the other place at some point,
I
saying
would like to play the brother, but more than the brother, I'd love to play an airship dwarf.
an airship dwarf. Interesting. Interesting. Nice. So, what is your favorite pastime hobby? I actually don't know the answer to this one, and that's super lame because I'm your sister.
I think it's running. I haven't been able to do it. I have bad knees now, and it takes me a long time to build up to it, but I love good running. And by that I mean not like running in your subdivision, not running on like the concrete roads, finding a nice path, running in the dirt, running on stuff that like you start going uphill, you're going to have to walk. Like that's real running to me. And I think it's better for you, except
Yeah.
for if you're first starting. If you're first starting, you need to start slow, even if it's walking, even if it's some sort of small exercise. That was one of my favorite things about Joy's interview was just her talking about her life and experience with like exercise and eating and living healthy.
Hmm.
Um, so my encouragement as someone who used to overtrain a lot is for those who are kind of in that middle ground where they can do more, just start slow. Don't push yourself.
Start slow, folks. You got it. And you can always ask Drunkel Grog for running advice on the channel. There's also the Dock Avenue Running Club, which is maybe a secret group on the Discord channel. But if you
So
need some support, like
you do costuming as a hobby, and that's just
oh my
making me wonder.
gosh,
So, like, what is your favorite costume you've ever made? Because I just saw one that was awesome, and I kind of want you to talk about it, but it may not be your favorite.
you mean my supernatural summertime Dean right now
No, I
that
meant
I'm
the one that
rocking?
you made, the one you made for your friend.
Oh yeah, I made an Elsa and Anna, and it was just really pretty. It debuted this year at Dragon Con, so I've got pictures. They'll go up. It'll be amazing. So I
Is that
do costuming as a hobby.
is
I
that your
don't do
favorite?
my. I don't think it's my favorite. What's my favorite? I don't know. I really probably supernatural cosplaying anything supernatural, and it's so silly because it's a closet cosplay, but it just means so much to me. Would you stop interviewing me now and let me finish your interview? Okay.
Continue.
So let's see. I like this one again from Blame Cat. What's the hottest spice-wise thing that you've ever eaten?
Not where I thought that was going when you said hottest. Um,
Your sister doesn't want to know that.
there was a spicy hot dog in Mexico, I think,
Hmm.
and I just remember it hit my tongue, and I was a little kid, and it burned so bad, and there was no amount of water that would quench it.
Hmm. You didn't do the Coke trick? We've known the Coke trick since we were
You
little. Salt and Coke trick.
you drink. Yeah, I know those things, but it wasn't working for that pepper. That pepper was a killer.
Oh.
Oh, speaking of, it might have also been the tomato you planted in your garden.
What tomato I planted?
The ones you guys put too close to the peppers.
Did the tomatoes take on some of the pepper taste?
Yes.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Hey, Mark, if you want to come over and get some spicy tomatoes, apparently I've got them. I'm just
So
saying.
what are we going to plant next to the peppers this coming year?
Oh, good question. Don't know. I am gonna shamelessly plug on the Nightcast creative Discord. There is a hot stuff, and I think it's also on the YouTube. Mark and his brother Doug, if you like sibling stuff like is going on here, um, they have a hot pepper show, hot sauce, YouTube soon, eventually. Okay, there is going to be a really cool like hot pepper, hot salsa show coming out on the YouTube. So yeah, there you go. All right. I like this one a lot, considering I've just done this. Ben, if you could dye your hair, what color would you dye it?
When I was younger, I wanted to dye my hair gray, like at a young age, because we knew someone who had like white hair when he was like late 20s. He looked so cool.
Yes.
So it used to be white. Now I think probably either like neon green, or one of the characters in Ruby has like aqua hair, and that looks pretty cool. It's brighter than yours.
Aqua hair?
Like iridescent aqua.
Oh, iridescent
But
aqua
we could be
awesome.
we could be hair twins.
Oh my gosh, we could be hair twins. I could actually dye your hair.
Would you go with a blue lightsaber?
No, purple, because purple looks good with blue, because I own purple.
You own a purple lightsaber?
You know I own a purple lightsaber. It's in my profile picture. Look on the Discord of my profile picture.
It's that's a lightsaber. I just thought it was a light source. I mean,
my God, I can see my DragonCon roommates over here like, he doesn't know you own a purple lightsaber? What kind of brother is that?
What kind of brother? What kind of sister?
They know I own a purple. It's on the internet.
If you would have handed it to me in person, I would have obviously always remembered it.
You moved my purple lightsaber.
Where did I move it?
When you
no one remembers that day. Nobody remembers that day.
Okay, whatever. All right. What is your favorite book or movie series?
Caroline Carlson's The Very Nearly Honorable League of Pirates.
Oh yeah.
It is just so goofy and so much fun. And if it wasn't that one, I would pick The City of Ember, because I think it has a great message about people, the nature of people, and forgiveness.
I can't. So, Ben, we're getting ready to wrap up here. We've got about 6 minutes left. What is one thing that you wish people knew about you?
Nothing. I don't want people to know about me.
For any of you who have been on the Discord channel or have been playing games with Ben for years, you know very little about him.
That's the goal. No.
Oh my gosh. Ben is an introvert in the truest sense of the word. Although ask him about his games and he'll talk to you for hours.
Yeah, ask me about a character. I'll go on and on. I was restraining myself there on each of those characters.
I know, I was really impressed.
Yeah, thank you. While I think about this, if you had wings, where would you fly to?
The moon. If you were a sea kangaroo, what color would you be and what sea would you live in?
The um, Aegean Sea, and I would be a green kangaroo because I'm a sea kangaroo.
So the Aegean Sea. Why the Aegean Sea?
Because it was the first one I thought of.
Okay.
If you were to replay one character again, who would it be? Would it be Marta?
I feel like you walked me into that question. It would be Marta.
Okay. If you had to play a character in the Firefly universe, what would they be like?
Oh, great question. Why is Firefly your favorite show ever? Go.
It's probably not, but it's one of my favorites.
Blasphemy. What is your favorite show?
I don't know if I could pick one. I would say Wolf's Rain off the top of my head.
Oh,
It's an
why
anime.
Wolfrain? Yeah.
It's a end of the world about people seeking paradise and willing to risk everything to find it.
Ah, something about that resonates with you.
Mm-hmm. And they're dogs. They're wolves. They're cuddly.
If I could bring you one present from Dragon Con, what would you want?
You to return. So as much as I love your dog, I could stop watching him.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to give you that present tomorrow. How's that sound?
Yay!
Yay.
Just what I wanted. And I've also finished all my questions that AJ and Mark gave me for you.
Did AJ and Mark try to get you to hijack the podcast? Or the podcast? Oh my God. The video interview show, the YouTube show.
Yeah, I'd say they did pretty good because we got our questions out before you finished your list.
Oh, no, I had already finished my list. I was ad-libbing. Sea kangaroo was my last question.
You missed one. AJ asked if I was to be a necromancer, what kind of necromancer would I be?
I know, I skipped that one.
That one's an excellent one.
Do you want to answer that one?
Yeah. First of all, if in Mark's universe of the other place, ghosts could be raised by necromancers, I would want to raise dinosaur ghosts because they're large. They're very large. They take up a lot of space. And think about the effect of ghost touch with dinosaurs. That's a lot of area of effect for a ghost touch.
I mean, Groton folk are a thing in the other place universe, so I feel like ghost dinosaurs are a thing.
But if I was to be a necromancer,
it's canon.
I'd want to raise people. Mm-hmm. I'd want to raise people to do things like, just good tasks like farming. Maybe even like, think about it. We want drones. We want Amazon to deliver stuff by drones. What if you could have a friendly neighborhood zombie bring you your package?
Oh, there we go. You're like pulling a end credits and Shaun of the Dead thing, huh?
I don't know.
Yeah. You haven't watched that?
I have seen Shaun of the Dead.
Uh-huh.
Were they delivering packages? Did I not notice this?
He and his bestie were playing on the video games, and then some other guy was like pushing a shopping cart, like doing the cart corral thing.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the cart corral.
Yeah.
Yep. That's probably where I got the idea.
See? Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Bless. Right. All right, friends. Thank you so much for joining us. I do have our next guest lined up for October. I'm not going to announce them yet because I do want to speak with them first just to confirm that it's all good. So we'll have an announcement coming out in the next couple of days of who our next guest is on this show. So, Ben, thank you so much for being here. We managed not to get in too many sibling squabbles. So I'm hoping everybody enjoyed it. We all appreciate you watching, and stay tuned next time to see who is behind the mask.